Arnold, they say that what are your plans? I understand you have foundations, different foundations on very strategic issues. What is next?
Well, I have obviously continued with movies because I took the 7 years out of my governorship to work just for the people of California and not to do any movies.
And you didn't get the salary of the governor.
That's why I didn't take the salary. No, that's right, yeah. Well, it was petty cash. So I said, what am I trying to take that money? So forget about it. So I gave it back because I felt like there's other people that need that money more than I do, that's for sure. And I wanted to do the job, for free. I wanted to just give my time, and it was not a one-way street by any means, because I tell you something, that sitting there in that Capitol in Sacramento and having meetings from 9 o'clock on in the morning, every hour a different meeting. One time the teachers come in and they talk about education. Then the school administrators come in and talk about their problems. Then the prison officials come in and talk about their problems, the overcrowded prisons that we have in California. Then the carpenters come in and talk about their union and about the things that they need to have changed. The homeless people come in and the advocates for the homeless people. So you go through every hour throughout the day of the most unbelievable stories and sagas that people go through. And many times there's meetings of things that you don't have the foggiest idea about. You know the subject, you've read about it, but you don't know the depth of what's really going on inside those things. And so to me, I felt like the governor's office became the greatest schoolroom, the greatest university that I could ever dream of. Because to learn firsthand, first of all through the briefings that I got from my staff always before the meetings, and then to listen to those stories, to learn all of this for 7 years, and to learn about foreign issues. So it was really a great, great experience. But after I was finished, I knew that I'm going to go back to movies. But at the same time, I'm still today as passionate as I've always been about public service. And so the after-school programs, for instance, that I started 20 years ago, I'm as energetic about that and still raising money, millions of dollars for the after-school programs. We were very fortunate also to pass an initiative in California that gives an additional $500 million a year to after-school programs, so that every elementary school child and every middle school child can participate in an after-school program. I'm still involved in environmental issues. Environmental issues are extremely important to me because it's our health, even though people talk about climate change, and so that's not what most people can concentrate on. I think the issues of job creation by creating a green economy, and about national security by being energy independent, and about health issues. So many people in America alone, 100,000 people a year die because of pollution-related illnesses. Those are issues that no one talks about, but those are the issues that I want to bring out and that I want to talk about, and to write op-ed pieces, give speeches about that, and deal through my institute. I created an institute, as you said, and you are on the board also of that institute, the USC Schwarzenegger Institute.
Let me take one of these issues that you're covering, the after-school program. What kind of activities are covered, and how does it happen? Within the school or in a different space?
Well, President Fox, here's the important issue. More than 50% of kids come from families where both of the parents are working.
Okay.
So the old days, like when I grew up, we didn't need an after-school program because my mother was at home waiting for me to come home, and then she will have me take off my jacket, she will feed me, And then she would say, now you sit down and you do your homework. And she would have the ruler in her hand. And she would threaten me with the ruler. Just, if you get up, I'm going to whack you with the ruler. So it was that kind of a situation. And then at 5 o'clock in the evening, my father, when he was finished working, he would take us to the soccer field and we would practice soccer. And in the winter we go sledding, or we go ice skating and ice curling and so on. So there was someone there 24 hours a day, between the teachers, the coaches, the principal, the mentors, the parents. There was someone always there supervising. Today that's not the case, because today parents are working, or a lot of kids come today from single parents home. So therefore there's no one there when it's 3 o'clock, for instance in America, at 3 o'clock the school is over, the kids go out, and now they're drifting around in the neighborhood. And what happens? Between 3 and 6 o'clock is the highest rate of juvenile crime. Why? Because they're not supervised. Kids don't grow up and say, I want to be bad. Kids don't come out of their mother and say, I want to be a criminal. No. We have to provide circumstances for the kids so they can get educated and that they can get a good, strong upbringing and guidance. They need adult supervision. If you don't have that, it all falls apart. And so what after-school programs do is, and why I had Democrats and Republicans be behind it, is because the Democrats looked at it as a good program. We want to be supportive, it's good education, blah, blah, blah. But the Republicans realized that for every dollar we spend on an after-school program, we save $3 down the line because of less juvenile crime, less teenage pregnancy, and less alcoholism, drugs, and gangs, and all of those things that cost society a lot of money. So that's why both of the parties supported it, and that's how we won, and that's how we have this great support in California. So I would say this is a new challenge, not just in America, but in Mexico, in Austria, in Germany, in England, all over the world, where both parents are working, and therefore this child is floating around and is not having any adult supervision. So therefore there's a chance of committing a crime or getting into trouble. And number 2, you don't have anyone there to help them with their homework. Number 3, there's no one there tutoring and helping them with their various different subjects. Number 3, there's no one there to help them with the sports. So what we provide is the tutoring, the homework assistance, arts and music programs, and then on the end there's a candy. If you do all those things, now you can go out and do sports. You can play soccer, you can play football, you can whatever sports any given school does. So that's then the last hour of school, and then the parents come and pick up the kid from school, so that the child is never drifting around out there. It costs $5 per day for an after-school program. This is how cheap it is. So this is why I always say, put money into that. It's the best investment you can make in our children.
You get a lot. You mentioned at the beginning that 10 years after we're coming back to the issue of migration, and that is true. I remember the first visit of President Bush to Mexico. He came to the ranch. He came to your home, and there we discussed for a day and a half basically the issue of migration. How could we put together something that would be solid enough to have the possibility of passing through Congress here, and what would satisfy both of our nations? And yes, 10 years after, we are here again. On that occasion, we advanced a lot. Unfortunately, September the 11th came, and that changed all priorities.
Well, I think that, first of all, I'm always an optimist, right? I think you have to be. So the positive thing is that the public opinion has changed tremendously in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember when I used to have a town hall meeting, I remember at the LA Times, and someone would say, well, don't illegals cause us, all these problems economically in California? I would say no. I mean, we have a lot of economic other issues to deal with. I said, it's not the illegals that cause our $20 billion deficit all of a sudden. I said, believe me. And they were outraged that I said that. Today, the opinion has changed. Now people say that they should get a visa, that they should find a path to citizenship, and all of this. So there's a lot of good that has happened in this last 10 years. Now we just have to have the politicians follow through and do their work. Because you have very conservatives in America that say, no, we should not give anyone the right to citizenship when they have committed a crime or they've done something illegal and all of that. You know, why shouldn't we have the same immigration laws like Mexico, they say? Because Mexico is very tough on illegals coming in, so we should be tough too. Then there's the other side, like myself, that says, whoa, I think that we have here millions and millions of people in America that are from Mexico and from other Latin countries that have done an extraordinary job in helping our economy and have worked very hard, have paid their taxes, and have been law-abiding citizens. Why wouldn't they have a chance, or should they have a chance, to go and work their way towards citizenship? Obama, for not being able to bring the two parties together. You can never blame just one person. I think in general the atmosphere is not there, and I feel that as soon as they have a breakthrough on an immigration issue, that there will be a breakthrough on many other issues like that, and there will be kind of the floodgate will be open, and I think they will be working together on many other issues. So that's my optimistic side.
No, and I'm sure it will happen, as you say, because it has many advantages, and but it's an issue that has to be regulated, has to have laws backing it up, so that it doesn't become a disorder, that it's really something that will benefit the United States, that will benefit Mexico, and will benefit Canada. Otherwise, if we keep building walls, if we keep isolating ourselves, where are the Arnold Schwarzeneggers going to be coming from that you have contributed to this nation enormously? Same as migrants do. This nation has been built by migrants.
I've done it, many others have done it. I always encourage people, don't sit in front of the television or read the newspaper and complain. Ask yourself the question, what do you do about it? Look every day in the mirror and ask yourself, there are certain things you don't like, the way that things are playing out. If it is in government, or if it is in your community, or if it is the lack of education that the kids are getting, or there is not enough police officers out there on the streets to patrol the streets, or the environment is being destroyed. What do you do about it? Is really the question. And this is why I always encourage people. When I go around and I give speeches, I always tell them, I said, besides, being concerned about your own success, I said, think about it, that the only way we can be successful is if our community is successful, if our country is successful. The more there is economic opportunities and the more our community works together and takes care of the kids and takes care of the elderly and takes care of the disadvantaged people and so on, the better we function, the more opportunities we have. And so get involved. Jump in there. If you go to a school and volunteer to teach how to read to a kid, or if you feel like there's not enough officers out there, volunteer and become an officer and patrol the streets. If you feel like that on the ocean there is not enough lifeguards, don't complain about it. Volunteer and you become a lifeguard. If you want to clean the environment, get involved in that movement and become a crusader, become part of that crusade. I tell you, it is such a wonderful feeling to be part of a crusade. I have been for 45 years part of the fitness crusade to tell people to exercise every day and to eat well and to stay away from drugs and from alcohol and all this stuff. And it feels good that you're fighting for that and you see your vision as a healthy society and so on. And the same is now, since I became governor, I've gotten involved in these environmental issues, and I have become a crusader for that because I want to see a sustainable energy future. If it is in the United States, if it's in Mexico, if it is all over the world, because we need to go in that direction. And we need to not villainize oil companies, but we need to make them part of that movement and to go into a clean energy future. And so that's what I encourage people always to do, is we got to fight to make it a better world, because we all have the responsibility. And you've said that many times, that we have to leave the world a better place.
You're running for president?
I can run for president, as you know, because of the Constitution. No, the Constitution says that you have to be born in the United States. But I did check out if we were occupied in Graz, where I was born, by the Americans. So that I have a spin like that, right? Well, we were occupied by the Americans, so therefore I can run for president. No, we were occupied by the British, so that was the same story, not by the Americans. So,
you know, we finished our time. Muchísimas gracias por haber estado con nosotros. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure.
Thank you. Fuck.